Okay, if you are learning Python right now, or even just thinking about it, I need you to stop what you're doing and listen for a second. What we're about to cover here is, well, it's absolutely critical for your future.
And I'm not trying to be dramatic here. Really understanding this shift could save you months of just spinning your wheels, and maybe even years of career frustration. All right, let's get into it.
So we're going to start with what I call the Python paradox. The idea is pretty simple. Python is still a fantastic, super valuable skill to have. But the way most people are learning it today is frankly a huge mistake.
You know, for the last decade or so, the advice has been the same, right? Want a job? Learn Python. Want to get into AI? Learn Python. It was like the golden ticket. And for a long time, that advice was solid gold. But things are different now. The market has completely changed, and AI tools are the reason why.
So how exactly did the game change so fast? How did that once perfect advice become, well, kind of outdated? It really all comes down to one simple, unavoidable fact.
The basic skill of just writing Python code isn't a rare commodity anymore. It's become common. And when anything becomes common, its value on its own naturally goes down. But it's actually even bigger than just a simple supply and demand thing.
I mean, just look at what AI tools can do now. We're not talking about just finishing your sentences. Modern AI can take plain English instructions and just write the Python code for you. It can debug your code, find the errors, and fix them. It can generate whole data models and scripts from scratch. And honestly, it can often explain what the code does better than a lot of the tutorials out there.
So here's the bottom line, and it's a tough one. If your entire value proposition, the thing you bring to the table, is I can write Python code, then you are now directly competing with machines that are faster, cheaper, and never get tired. And this isn't some sci-fi future. It's happening right now.
So this brings us to the really important question, the one that actually matters. With all this change, what do companies, the people who sign the paychecks, actually want? Because there is a huge disconnect between how people are learning and what employers are actually looking for.
Let's be real about how most of us learn, right? We follow tutorials, copying and pasting code line by line. We build these little toy projects that don't really solve a real-world problem. We spend hours trying to memorize the syntax for different libraries. It feels like we're being productive, for sure. But you have to ask the hard question. Is that what a company is going to pay you a salary for? The ability to follow a recipe? To memorize a function name? The answer, pretty clearly, is no. And this is probably the single most important idea to get. Companies don't pay you for knowing the syntax of a language. They pay you for solving their problems. Python is just the tool you happen to be using to build a solution. So what do they actually care about? They want to know, can you sit down and understand a business problem from their perspective? Can you look at a giant, messy spreadsheet of data and figure out what's actually important and what's just noise? Can you think strategically and pick the right way to tackle the problem? And, this one's huge, can you explain your results to people who don't code?
Okay, so we've laid out the problem. The old way of learning is becoming a dead end. So now, let's talk about the solution. Let's build your new path forward, and trust me, it's a much more powerful one.
Here's the shift in mindset. Your new goal isn't to become a Python coder. Your goal is to become a problem solver. And what is that? It's someone who knows how to use Python and AI together as a team to solve real, messy, important business problems.
So, how do you learn to be that person? You start focusing on different things. You stop just writing code and start using Python to practice thinking logically. You focus on what the data means, not just how to manipulate it. You learn to be a skeptical partner to AI, to validate its output, not just blindly copy and paste. And you are always trying to connect the tech stuff you're doing back to the business goal. Let me tell you, that combination of skills, being fluent in the tech, but also thinking strategically about the business, is unbelievably powerful. And right now, it is also unbelievably rare. And that, right there, is your massive opportunity.
All right, let's bring this all together and look at what it really means to be a professional in this new AI era, because things are really splitting into two very different futures.
But first, let's be super clear about something. Python is not dying, not even close. It's a fantastic, powerful language, and it's going to be around for a long time. What is dying is the old career path that was built only on the ability to write it.
So, here are the two futures you can choose from. On one side, you have the pure coder. That old path is shrinking, and people who only focus on that are going to struggle to compete. But on the other side, you have the thinker, the problem solver. That new path is growing fast. People who can think critically, design solutions, and question everything. Using AI as their co-pilot, their careers are going to take off like never before.
And so it all comes down to this one last question for you to think about. As you keep learning, what are you training to be? Are you training to be a simple tool user, or are you training to become a true problem solver? The choice you make right now will pretty much define your entire career.